Married woman bitten on buttock by intruder says he tried to ruin my life with lies. This man has tried to ruin my reputation and has lied about me from the beginning. A married woman who was bitten on the buttock by an intruder has slammed her attacker's 1-month jail sentence, saying, "He didn't just attack me, he tried to ruin my life with lies that we were having an affair." Martin Gooney has been given a 1-month sentence in prison for intruding in my home and biting me twice. And he's not even in jail because he's appealed the sentence. This is so wrong. On Friday last week, Gooney of Riverview, Scariff, Eau Claire was given 2 one-month sentences to be served concurrently for the assaults on the woman at an address in Whitegate, Eau Claire. Killaloe District Court heard he bit the woman twice, once on the buttock and once on the shoulder, while trespassing in her home on the night on December 22, 2022. The attack only ended when the woman's 8-year-old son walked in, causing Gooney to flee. Gooney, 27, who has previous convictions for making a threat to kill and assault causing harm, pleaded guilty to 2 counts of assault against the woman and 1 count of trespass at her family home. But his solicitor, Darrett Hassett, requested that the sentences be suspended in the context of what he called the complicated relationship between Gooney and the woman. Mr. Hassett said that the two had been in a brief relationship, though he acknowledged this was denied by the married woman. Judge Alec Gabbett said he could not suspend the prison term and had been considering a longer sentence than 1 month. Today, in her first interview since the sentence was handed down, the woman has again denied ever being in a relationship of any sort with the 27-year-old. "He just thrown everything at me to walk away from this," she said. "This man has tried to ruin my reputation and has lied about me from the beginning. That was his defense, that he rode me and we were having this big affair. And even though it's a lie, because of it, he's basically gotten away with what he did to me." Sitting in her kitchen, the mother of 4's voice cracked as she relived the events that took place on Christmas week 2 years ago. She said on the night of the attack, her eldest son and Gooney, who both worked for her brother-in-law, were at a Christmas party in the local pub. "My husband was with them too," she said. "He had just come home and he fell asleep on the couch. At 11:45 p.m., he, Gooney, came to my door looking for my son. The woman told him her son was still out and offered to ring him. Gooney walked into the kitchen with her as she made the call. I put my son on to Gooney because he wanted a lift out to Scariff," she said. "My son said he'd ring him back in 5 minutes. After she put the phone down, she said Gooney tried to kiss her. I said, 'What do you think you're doing? That's not happening.' He kind of jumped back and then the phone rang and it was my son, and he told him he couldn't get anyone to pick him up. At that stage, he left and went out the front door." The woman said she went upstairs to check on her younger son and daughter, who were up late and excited about Christmas, before going back downstairs to lock up. "That's when I saw him again," she said, standing outside the back door. "He climbed over the gate at the side of the house to come in around the back. I opened the door and said, 'What are you at?' And he said to come out to him for a few minutes. I said no, and that's when he caught me by my wrists and dragged me out the back door. I had caught the door jamb to try and pull myself back in through the door. And as I did, he lost his footing, and that's when he bit me there on the buttock." As the woman tried to get away, she said Gooney followed her into the kitchen, where he shoved her into a corner against the dishwasher and bit her on the shoulder. "I screamed again," she recalled, "and that's when my 8-year-old son walked in and said, 'What's going on?' The woman said her son's arrival startled Gooney, who then fled as she attempted to comfort the panicked child. "I didn't know what to do," she continued. "I didn't want to ruin Christmas for the children. So I said nothing at all the next day, but that evening, as my husband was sitting in the sitting room, my younger son asked my older son why had his friend had hurt Manny last night. And that's how it all came out. I told my husband everything then, and I showed him the bruises. He, Gooney, had pulled me so hard out that back door he left bruises on my wrists. I had to show my husband all these bruises and the teeth marks on his wife's body where he broke the skin." The woman said her husband was furious and contacted his brother, Gooney's employer, demanding his address. "We didn't know this man," she said. "We'd had met him only a handful of times while my son was working with him.